أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وقالوا لن نؤمن لك حتى تفجر لنا من الأرض ينبوعا أو تكون لك جنة من نخيل وعنب فتفجر الأنهار خلالها تفجيرا أو تسقط السماء كما زعمت علينا كسفا أو تأتي بالله والملائكة قبيلا أو يكون لك بيت من زخرف أو ترقى في السماء ولن نؤمن لرقيك حتى ننزل علينا كتابا نقرؤه قل سبحان ربي هل كنت إلا بشر ورسولا. Long ayat, few ayats from Surah Isra, the translation of which is, they said, the Quraysh said, we shall never believe in you unless you cause a spring to gush forth for us from the earth. Or you have a garden of date palms and grapes. Then you bring forth rivers from their midst in abundance. Or you cause the sky to fall upon us in pieces as you claim, as punishment. Or you bring Allah and angels before us face to face. Or you have a house made of gold. Or you ascend to the sky, and we will not believe in your ascension unless you send down to us a book we made it. Say, O Prophet Muhammad, I proclaim the purity of my Lord. I am nothing but a human, a messenger. I choose to select these ayats. That kind of argument and ridiculous arguments Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was facing. Those who take a stand to do something good, they come across a lot of resistance, including this type of argument. If you list them, how many claims they are making, there are many. Do this and then do this, and in addition to that, so you should convince us. You can tell they are not interested in listening to the message, they are not interested in understanding or following it. They have a problem. From day one until today, it goes on. The forces of evil, the forces that are indulged in their own life, in their own liking and disliking, they're not going to listen. But on the other hand, the forces of good, those who want to make the society a better place to live, they don't stop either. They are few, but they don't stop either. The struggle goes on. So in pre-Islamic Arabia, people of all faith like America, They all faith, they lived together. There were Jews, there were Christians there were star worshippers, and there were idol worshippers, and people who believed in nothing. They all lived together. You don't hear there was a problem, right? You never hear there was a problem until Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, came and he said, you believe in God, Allah, you believe in Ilah, but you also believe in everything else. So why don't you just stop believing in other gods, fake gods, and believe in the God, which is Al-Ilah, Allah. That's when the problem started. So growing up, I have heard few khutbahs in which we are told, all he said was a simple thing. By saying such a simple thing, that just believe in one God, drop the others. After all, that's what the Tayyibah, we say Shahada. You want to become Muslim, you have to say La ilaha. First you have to say no to everything else. It starts with the denial. La ilaha. Nobody else deserves my obedience, worthy of my worship, following, obedience, illallah, except the God. No ilah, but the ilah. When we say the ilah, it means that particular God. So that's the whole story. You have to deny everything else. You can't mix it up, but we mix it up. So as we go through some reasons why Quraysh turned against him, let's explore our world of our own minds. See what I am doing in this world. So it's not a simple matter. It wasn't a simple thing that Abu Jahl didn't understand or his tribe didn't understand what he was saying. He wasn't just saying, okay, just stop the thing, stop Pepsi Cola and this cola, drink this cola. It's not that. They were smart people. They knew what was coming behind this claim. They knew what was going to affect them, and they're going to do certain things in the society. That's why they turned against him. It isn't just simple thing. So let's go over this. What was the reason their opposition started? He was one of them. Why would you turn against one of your own? Shouldn't we be happy one of our own family member is anointed as prophet? We should follow. Let's see what happened. So his first attempt, we all know, he went to a mountain and he asked, Ya Sabaha, he said, he made the claim, there is a problem. That's what Arabs did. There is a problem, listen to me. They came and he said, there is an army. If I tell you there is an army behind this mountain, you believe? Yes, and we believe you. You never lie. He said, well then believe in this message that worship nobody but God, only Ilah, the Ilah. And they say, you're out of your mind, and other things. Second attempt he made when he invited people of his family members in their house for a dinner, for a banquet. And he said, this is the message, a being has come to me, like he came to prophets before me. Believe in this. Nobody, they left. You know how insulting it is that you invite somebody and they just leave your house. We don't want to listen to you, we don't want to eat your food. Except one person. The young guys know, right, who that person was. Except one young person who had problem with his eyes and he was skinny. He had weak legs. So they mocked him. Ali, radiallahu. He says, all you got to follow you is the guy with the problem with his eyes and the legs. He's a skinny guy, weak guy. He was mocked. These are the phases we go through if you do da'wah. Why we do this da'wah? We'll talk about this at the end. So why? What difference it makes God is 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 or 25 minutes? What difference it makes? We'll come at the end. So there are few reasons I'm going to go over. I'm going to first mention. First, the political power and economic interest of Quraysh and others. Following their forefathers' ways, the habit, this is what my father did. This is the tradition of our family, brother. We do wedding in certain ways. Envy and pride. Public awareness against the status quo that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's message was bringing. Those the system serves are not willing to bring anything that challenges them. Blindly following influential people in the society, celebrities for example. For wrong reasons. If somebody is a wrestler, so what? Doesn't mean he's a philosopher of life. Blindly following friends. These were friends. And 7, gradual distance from the limelight. slowly things take us away from the divine guidance. These are the reasons. So let's go over them quickly. Political power and economic interests. And I'll go rather fast because I don't want to come to the end of the time and not cover everything. So Quraysh were in charge of Kaaba during the time of Ismail alayhi salam. Then he married into Banu Jarham. Then his family started. Over a period of time, people started going away from the faith. I told in one of the earlier khutbahs, I said the Hajj changed. Hajj changed to become whatever it was when Prophet Muhammad came to Arabia. It was nude. People would go around nude and clap and whistle and dance. That was the Hajj. Things changed over a period of time. And lastly, I remember I mentioned this, because those who don't want restrictions in their lives, liberals, ultra-liberals, they have a way of pushing things in particular direction. Those who are good people usually don't acquire the skills that are necessary to do this. We just talk about simple things, whether they're Muslim, Jews or Christian. In the southern states, you go talk to Christian leaders. Hey, this is going on in the society, abortion. Oh, God is with us. Fine, He's with us. But you gotta have skills to promote your message, right? So they were called, to Quraysh were on the top. They were the leaders of that area. They were the political leaders. People just like today used to go to Makkah all the time and for Hajj. And it was a great economic activity. They were called God's neighbors. Their title was, people said, they're the neighbor of the God. They're so close to God. There was even a festival in that area called Sauk Okaz. People would come in large number and dance and whatever they wanted to do. Even today, during Hajj, there is a lot of economic activities, right? Millions of dollars activity. Hajj itself is a big economic activity. Everybody who goes there, even if you spend $1,000, imagine how much money 2 million people are spending, if there are 2 million. So all this made them hold on to whatever was going on, don't change it. So financial prosperity, social and political status were everything to Quraysh. They thought this is everything. For that reason, because this was their mindset, they offered Prophet Muhammad. They thought he's the same person. He's just like us. They said, we'll give you the most beautiful woman or whatever money you want. We'll make you the president. They didn't understand what message was. He said, no, I'm not interested. It's a different game. So that was one reason. They didn't want to give up and he didn't want to give up. In every society, and we will do a khutbah later sometime, in every society, 4 forces come together. If they come together and when they come together to protect their own interest and support each other for their interest, they control the whole society. Then society suffers. Pharaoh, a political power. Haman, the people who come around the political power, right, the ministers and everybody else. Qarun, the rich people, elite, they also have their interest connected with them, so they come together. And Uzair, Azar, Ibrahim alayhi salam, the religious leaders. Those religious leaders who find their interest and prosperity by attaching with this gang. When these 4 forces come together in a society, the society is under slavery. Just like when Israel was. So then Musa has to come, or Prophet Muhammad has to come to break it. There is a historian, his name is Montgomery Watt, he writes, as the ranks of Prophet Muhammad's followers swelled, increased, he became a threat to the local tribes and the rulers of the city whose wealth and status rested upon the Kaaba, the focal point of Meccan regional life. That was one most important thing. So what has happened to them? When you have a lot of stuff and you are indulged in more and more and more, the cruise and Hawaii and Switzerland, a time comes where our possessions own us. Then we are gone. Second reason, holding on to the ways of their forefathers, and we do it in our culture. I'm from Pakistan, I'm telling you. Pakistan is a lot of Indian and Hindu culture we brought over. When we converted from Hinduism or Sikhism to Islam, we brought a lot of that baggage into Islam. Now it's the only difference is in Arabic rather than Hindi and Urdu. It's in Arabic. But we bring this back. Just imagine how we do our weddings. They're not simple weddings. We spend a lot of money. That has nothing to do with Islam. But we stick with this because that's how we do it in Bangkok. That's how we do it. So we deny Allah. In simple things, we are denying. So this is the status of Abu Talib when he was approached by Prophet Muhammad on his deathbed. You know the story, I'll just make it short. And he kept saying, please say God is one, please say God is one, and I'll stand for you. But other two uncles kept saying, are you going to leave your forefathers' ways? They said, are you going to leave the religion of Abu Muttalib? You know, that appeals. Aren't you from Somalia? Aren't you from Pakistan? This is not what we do in India. So he said, no, I'm not going to leave his ways. And he died. Forefather, the attachment. In Surah Luqman, Allah Ta'ala says, وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمُ اتَّبِعُوا مَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ قَالُوا بَلْ نَتَّبِعُ مَا وَجَدْنَا عَلَيْهِ آبَاءَنَا. He said, when it is said to them, follow what Allah has revealed, they say, we will follow that upon which we found our forefathers. Well, maybe your forefathers were not right. So we have to, particularly youth, you have to question all the time. What am I doing? I question, why should I pray 5 times? Is this a habit I'm doing 5 times or because my father prayed 5 times? No, because it's an order. It's not a habit, it's not a tradition, it's because I'm ordered to pray. And there is a reason for that. So they preferred their trends and tradition. They preferred their trends and traditions over reason and revelation. Key points. We here will not do this. We will resort to reason and revelation when it comes to making good decisions, critical decisions. We change. It's our comfort zone. You know, just do whatever you're doing because it's comfortable. You don't have to think. People don't want to think much. Because when you think, you may have to change. And who wants to change? Right? But when trouble comes, we change. I never thought I would live in America. But situation in my country and opportunities in this country, other things forced me to change. I changed. I'm not an IT person from the beginning. I never liked IT. You know, but if I go in IT, I don't have to talk much to others in English. And I can make reasonable money. So I went. I graduated with IT degree. I'm not interested in IT even today. But when situation calls for, our own needs tell us to change, we change. So when the need that my God wants me to do something is going to change me, it should. We should let it change us. They even forgot that Prophet Muhammad was asking them to come to something that was their faith, Ibrahim alayhi salam. Reason number 3 was envy and pride. So Quraysh felt if any revelation is coming, it should be given to, so that is said, right? وَقَالُوا لَوْلَا نُزِّلَ هَذَا الْقُرْآنُ عَلَىٰ رَجُلٍ مِّنَ الْقَرْيَتَيْنِ عَظِيمٍ. They said, why was the Quran not revealed to a great man from one of these 2 cities? Not by this guy who's orphaned. So Walid bin Mughira and Arwa bin Masood, they were expecting one of these smart guys to become prophet. That doesn't work. That God doesn't go by what we think is right. So not only did they have their own criteria, but they even had their own chosen people. So they turned against him. They thought, we are not realists. Abu Jahl said, we competed with other clans. They donate, we donate more. You know, they bring more rights, we bring more rights than them. Right? They help people, we help people. Now, how is it that one of them comes as a prophet and we accept him? Who are we going to bring as a prophet to compete? We're going to lose. So he said, these are by Allah, even because they still believed in Allah, but in a ridiculous way. You don't say, I believe in Allah and go against him. So he said, by Allah, we shall never believe in him. Because we are losing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Nobody loses. See how they thought, and even we think along the same line sometimes. And Quraysh had many sub-tribes. Prophet Muhammad was a Banu Hashim clan. And like I said, he was an orphan. So he's just an orphan. It's a small clan. Why should we go with a small clan? The pride and envy. There was actually a poet. His name was Umayyah ibn Abi As-Salf. He, before prophets anointed as a prophet, he used to write poetry in favor of Tawheed. Beautiful poetry. To the point that even Prophet Muhammad used to tell Sahaba, so recite his poetry to me. So one Sahabi said, he said, recite one more. He recited another couplet. Then he said, I recited 100 couplets. Ash'ar. And he loved it. It was beautiful. It's about Tawheed. right? He was a mu'ahid. But when Prophet Muhammad became prophet, he became jealous. He said, you know, I did so much work, didn't I deserve to be the prophet? So when something is authentic, it's not me and you, right? So he turned against him as well. It's not our choice, but whatever Allah assigns, whoever Allah assigns, we need to take the responsibility. So their concept of prophethood was not right. Many years ago, we used to visit a church in Evanston every month, and they used to visit us after 9/11 to talk about different topics. Once Episcopal church, once we were sitting there and they said, we have made a decision that we accept Prophet Muhammad as prophet. You know, I wanted to leave church right away and start yelling, hey, the whole church now believes in Prophet Muhammad. Until I realized they're saying, all right, like Martin Luther King is also prophet, Muhammad is prophet. They didn't have the idea what prophethood is. It's not, you don't decide who prophet is and what his role is. Martin Luther King is a good guy, but he can't be a prophet. But that has to do with divine guidance. So people don't get the idea. Reason number 4 was public awareness against the status quo. The new message, it preached, other than, in addition to other things, it preached equality and justice. Whether you're rich or poor, right? You have a high political status, or you're a common person, or you're a young person, or you're an old person. It's equality and justice. It didn't sit well with them. So what do you mean? You know, we have the whole. Remember a person, tribal leader became Muslim, and he was circling the Kaaba, and a poor guy's foot came on his dress, and he slapped the Muslim. And later on, when he was told, you'll be slapped, this person has to slap him. He said, give me tonight to think, and he escaped. He said, no, it's not going to happen. Well, you accept it. You can't say, I believe in God, and not accept what God is saying. So pride and conceit, lying and deceit, sexual decadence and mindless cruelty were the norm of the day. In that situation, somebody saying we are equal and justice has to be done is not going to work. But so what? He said, I'm going to hold my ground. So that was another problem. And they used to tell people, Prophet Muhammad, they used to call him Allah Dini. They used to tell his uncle, you know, your nephew has rebelled against the faith. Because whatever faith to them was, he rebelled against it. Yeah, but that's not a deen. It's a deen of Allah. You have rebelled. But when a mistake is widespread, people think they are right. So you have to have a way to tell them what is right and why. We have to be good in doing that. When we do dawah, we can't just go around and say, brother, God is one and Muhammad is his messenger. Well, there are people, they're preaching Buddhism. There are people becoming Sikhs, Hindus, whatever. Everybody preaches, but you have to preach with wisdom and with eloquence, with reasoning, the need, why something is right and what it means. We'll save some time for that. Another was following your friends. So following influential people and friends, similar stuff. Allah Ta'ala says, he says, Ya wailata laytani lam attakhiz fulanan khalila. Even we will forget even the name of our friend and say, woe to me, only if I had not taken so and so, Fulan and Fulan as close friends. Because they have influence over you. There are 3 relationships. You have your neighbors, they're related to you through your geography, right? They're next door. And there are people, they're related to you, even if they're far from you, they're related to you because of your blood tie, your relative. You have no choice. You just can't say he's not my relative. You may not talk, that's fine. But you can't just say he's not my relative, he's not my neighbor. You can't. But friends are your choice. That's your choice. If you feel, and you should feel, you know, I'm being negatively influenced by my friend, then go away from them. It's your choice. So Allah Ta'ala didn't pick a relative and other. He said, this is your choice. By choice, you let people influence you negatively. Gradual distance from the divine guidance. You know, when I was growing up, I was told by my parents, movies back in 40s were good. Now they're not in 70s. I don't watch movies. I have watched maybe 7 Indian movies at that time. When I grew up, I realized, you know, movies are becoming bad. In 70s they were okay, in 80s and 90s they're vulgar. Now people tell me movies were okay in 90s, now they're vulgar. You see how every generation grows up and they take whatever is going on as norm. Then things deteriorate further and we realize, oh, it's bad. It's been going bad. So if we are able to see the world for past 500 years and see all the changes quickly and the graph, we'll see, you know what, this is a disaster. We're in trouble. We got to do something about it. We're losing our kids. So it makes your heart hardened slowly when things happen. There are interest groups, as I said. They take stand and do whatever they have to safeguard their system. Are we willing to take a stand for the entire humanity? We are not interested in our personal interest. We are interested in the entire humanity, in entire humanity's well-being. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. They didn't want to change, crash, and they resisted the message. As I said, there were several reasons. I quickly go over them. Political power and economic interest, following forefathers' ways, envy and pride, public awareness against the status quo that Islam was bringing, blindly following influential people, the influencers, the celebrities, blindly following their friends, and gradual distance from the divine guidance. They have not stopped. We are not going to stop. Simple as that. Prophet's cousin, one of his cousins, before he was born, he realized, his name was Abdullah, he realized that this is not right whatever we are doing. So he used to sit in Kaaba and do sajda, that's all he knew. And ask Allah that, I don't know how Ibrahim alayhi salam prayed, otherwise I would worship you the way he did. I don't. But I don't agree with whatever Quraysh is doing, our relative forefathers. To the point they kicked him out of Makkah. He lived in, anybody has been to Makkah? You know those dark mountains? They banished him into those mountains. He died somewhere in those mountains. When I went for first time to Makkah, the first thing I saw the mountain, I said, somewhere here, Abdullah's bones are buried. Or remnants of his bones, somewhere here. That guy, the da'i of his time, died. People asked Prophet Muhammad, what do you think about your cousin? He said he will be raised on the day of judgment as a one-man nation and he will be saved. Because whatever he understood, he took a stand for that. So why they do it? What becomes a big deal about one God? Because we take following one God not just for rituals, 5 prayers and this and that. Nobody erects rituals for nothing. Nobody erects pillars for nothing. No, do you build just pillars and say, I build pillars? You build a house around and above the pillars. So we don't talk about the social change. Pillars are the strength that I have with my Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The social system we should build. And our society, whatever problem it has, we should try to fix them. That's our work. When you're and I'm gonna start doing this, we're gonna face opposition problem. But if we are smart, we can go around it. So don't take worship. My message today is don't take abd ibadah as worship or ritual. Take it as follow Allah Ta'ala, whatever He has said. He stop. He said do it. Not doing bad thing is not the full story. It's a half the story. Why don't drink, brother? So why don't you gamble? Great. But do you do the good things? We don't. Or do good things. I want to know what you're doing to fix the society, the evils of the society. It's affecting us and our kids. So I expect particularly youth, find out, and we can have a talk later sometime. Prepare yourself, acquire the skills needed to work for the divinely positive social change. Divinely positive social change. Fix the society. This society is great. We came here, we want to live here. But it has a moral problem. Let's work on the moral thing. We take care of that aspect of the society. Let's make a dua. Ask Allah Ta'ala to help us become better Muslims. ربنا أفرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون وأقيموا الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح أقامت الصلاة أقامت الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
لا إله إلا الله. استقيموا واعتدلوا استووا صفوفكم إن تسوية الصف من تمام الصلاة يرحمكم الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى فجعله غثاء الذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء أحوى سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى ونيسرك لليسرى فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى سيذكر من يخشى وتجنبها الأشقى الذي يصلى النار الكبرى ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. أفلا ينظرون إلى الإبل كيف خلقت وإلى السماء كيف رفعت وإلى الجبال كيف نصبت وإلى الأرض